My name is Stuart with Curtis Power Solutions. We're going to be doing a quick video this morning on inspection techniques of a generator. What I'm going to be utilizing is our check sheet that we have used for over 20 years. I'm going to be running down this sheet fairly quickly. What you guys are using is a little different, but I think I'm still going to get everything covered that you're going to need to know. We also use a program called Canvas that you guys are going to be transferring over into in the near future. That is a laptop, iPad, iPhone based program that is very quick and very easy to use, but I'm going to use this for today. I'm just going to run down it. This is a diesel generator. It's a mobile. Obviously it's one of the Western Branch's generators, so I'm going to use it for demonstration purposes. On the engine you have gas and diesel, so we're going to be inspecting whatever you're going out to work on, whether it's a gas engine or a diesel engine. This happens to be a diesel. The first thing you want to do when you walk up on this thing is obviously remember safety. This thing is going to be an automatic standby generator system. It can start at any moment. So keep your fingers, any loose clothing, anything away from anything that may be a moving part. First thing I want to take you a look at is the belts. Up in the front, make sure the belts are tight. Make sure the belts are aligned properly. There's no unusual wear, any cracking, anything that may be in need of replacement. Age, if they're over 4 to 7 years old, you need to get them replaced. If they're serpentine belts, you're just going to have to get a real quick look at them, make sure they're not off alignment on some of the bigger units, some of the smaller units. If they're over 8 years old, they need to be replaced. Need to look over real quick and make sure there's no leaks, make sure there's nothing seeps down on the bottom. Clean them up, get your paper towels out, get some spray nine, get some simple green, some kind of degreaser, and kind of do a quick once over. If you see any leaks, make sure you note them up on your paperwork. The injection pumps, the turbos, everything, obviously make sure that they're in working order. If it's going to, this is all pre-checked, so once you start it up, you're going to be obviously knowing that it's going to be working. We'll get into that a little bit deeper in the forward in this. The oil system, you're going to check the oil level, which is on the other side. I think we all know how to do that. Check for leaks. If you need to lubricate the governor, actuators, any kind of moving parts that need to be lubricated, make sure you do that during your inspection. Cooling system, just like a car, you have a radiator. You need to check the coolant level, check the freeze protection level, and we also have three tests on one test strip for all cooling systems. Make sure you check that. Block heater, this time of year, it's important you check that block heater, make sure your block is hot. You can check the block, you can put your hand on the block, being safe, make sure that it is warm. If it's not, you need to do a quick check, make sure the circuit breaker is turned on, make sure you have power to it. Take your multimeter if you need to, check the outlet that it may be plugged into, check the wiring, make sure it's working. This time of year, gets cold, these engines will not start, and you're going to get service calls for block heaters. Make sure that's checked. Exhaust system, just make sure it's tight, make sure there's no leaks. Obviously, if it's a diesel, you'll probably see some exhaust leakage around it. Make sure you note that. The fuel system, make sure you have fuel. Obviously, if it's a day tank, if it's a base tank, if it's an outside, underground, test it. We have paste that you can check for water in your fuel. Make sure you have a wooden dipstick, put a little paste on it, step it in a tank, bring it up. It should turn a purple if you have some water in it. Make sure there's no water. Day tanks we'll kind of go over in a future class, but day tanks, make sure that they're operating properly. They should be full to wherever they should be at. Just note the fuel level on your paperwork. Electrical, make sure you check your electrical connections. Make sure they're all tight and secure, nothing's loose and falling off. Battery cables, battery terminals. Just come on over to this side because this is where the battery is at. Hook your multimeter, positive, negative up to here. Put it on min-max. So when you go to start it, you can take a voltage drop and you know what that voltage is. It shouldn't drop below, on a 12 volt system, it shouldn't drop below 9. On a 24 volt system, we shouldn't really be dropping much more than 17, 18 volts on your cranking. If it does, you probably need to get them replaced. If the batteries are over 4 years old, quote them to replace it because they're going to start becoming unreliable. Make sure that all your terminals on your alternators here are all tight and secure. You need to take a wrench, snug them up a little bit. Be careful because you're still hooked up to your batteries. You're still in auto again, it may start. So make sure that you're aware of that. Operational checks. Now this one we're not going to do because this is a mobile and we're in our shop. Once you start the generator up, you're going to start it, check your cranking voltage. You should also go to your gauges back here on your meters and check and make sure you have voltage, make sure you have frequency, write them down on your paperwork. Over on the right hand side of this control panel, you're going to have all your analog meters. You may have digital, record your fuel levels, coolant temperatures, oil pressures, all of that. Do your running check until it's up to proper operating temperature, about 10-15 minutes. Make all your notes. Then shut it back down, put it in auto, get with whoever your customer is, and ask them if you can do a transfer switch test over to building load, put it on the generator. That is critical. That needs to happen. And you need to explain that to your customers because that's part of this system. If you have a generator out here that starts and runs and you have a transfer switch that doesn't work, it's a useless system. Try to explain to them that you need to do this test. That you should have also reinforced on a phone call prior to, say, hey, we're going to come out, we're going to do the inspection on your generator, we're going to do the full service on your generator, whatever it may be, but we need to do a transfer test at the same time. Please make all of the necessary arrangements so we can do that. Then once you do that, if they will allow it, make all your readings under the load test if permitted, what your amperages are per phase, if they're balanced, what the amperages are, voltage, frequency. If you need to adjust the voltage regulator, you need to do that under load only. If you have to do any minor adjustments, that's fine. If it's going to take a long time to do something you find, you need to quote that. Transfer switch, go to the transfer switch if you can, do the transfer switch building test. If not, make sure you note that on your paperwork. Do not open the transfer switch and take any voltage readings unless you're wearing the proper PPE. Most transfer switches nowadays are all controlled by the outside of the transfer switch. You shouldn't need to open it up. They should have all your readings on that controller to tell you the voltage, the frequency, the phase rotation, and amperage, or you can scroll through the menus and find that. Some of the older ones you can't do that, but out on the generators you should still have your readings. If there's any questions, get with me and I will answer any questions that you have. There will be a 10-question quiz coming to you shortly. Thank you.